Imagine the exact moment you were born, looking up at the ceiling of that room, taking your very first breath. Was your mind already preloaded with an operating system, a set of moral truths, or a predetermined destiny? Our modern anxieties about manipulation and the loss of free will often trace back to a fundamental misunderstanding of the operating system upon which human democracy was originally built. In the 17th century, the prevalent doctrine of the divine right of kings assumed that social hierarchies and moral compasses were stamped into the soul before birth. This belief provided a convenient theological justification for massive societal inequality, suggesting some were simply born to rule while others were born to serve. John Locke shattered this entrenched system with a single radical concept, the tabula rasa, or blank slate. He asserted that no ideas are innate. Instead, we are born entirely empty. By defining the mind as an empty vessel shaped solely by experience, Locke stripped away the justification for absolute monarchy. If every human begins at a baseline of 0, then political equality is the only logical conclusion. Locke's empiricism begins with sensation. Sights, sounds, and touches provide simple ideas, the initial building blocks on our blank slate. The second stage is reflection. The mind reasons about these isolated inputs, binding them to form complex ideas. This cognitive equality leads directly to Locke's state of nature, where every person is born with inherent natural rights, the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to property. He argued that property is created when an individual mixes their labor with the natural world, turning common resources into a personal right. To protect these rights, individuals enter a social contract, voluntarily leaving the state of nature to hire a civil government. As outlined in his 2 treatises of government, the legitimate purpose of that government is strictly limited to preserving their existing rights. If a government violates those rights, it forfeits its authority. The people are then fully justified in exercising their original sovereignty to dismantle that system, a principle directly executed in the American Declaration of Independence. The survival of both our independent identity and a legitimate democracy depends on this internal, uncoerced data processing pipeline remaining intact. However, Locke's system contains a profound vulnerability: environmental determinism. If our identity is entirely constructed by the information our environment feeds us, then whoever controls that environment ultimately controls who we become. In the 17th century, that environment was geographically limited and slow. Today, we live in a hyper-connected, infinite digital ecosystem where sensory inputs arrive at the speed of light. Artificial intelligence has become the primary mediator of this new world, acting as an invisible layer between the raw environment and our blank slates. AI actively intercepts sensation. Algorithms explicitly choose which simple data points reach our perception. By synthesizing this information, AI bypasses reflection entirely, delivering preassembled complex ideas directly to the mind, removing the difficult work of reasoning. This algorithmic curation provides the illusion of infinite choice, while stripping away the cognitive friction required to function as an independent thinker. Our deeply held political and moral beliefs risk becoming mere reflections of an isolated reality, curated by an algorithm to maximize our engagement. This creates a unique paradox in machine learning. These models are trained by consuming the digitized reflections and blank slates of billions of human beings. We have entered an infinite feedback loop, where humanity trains the AI, and humanity then increasingly builds its identities based on the outputs of that same AI. The modern threat to our liberty comes from the sheer convenience of a curated reality. We are quietly surrendering the algorithmic pen to the machines because it is easier than doing the work of reflection ourselves. To preserve the legacy of democratic autonomy, we must actively reject this frictionless reality. We must reclaim the difficult internal work of reflection and ensure we remain the sole authors of our own blank slates.